Okay, so today I'm going to be taking a look at everything, a little bit of everything here. So a little bit about gesture, someone who's almost done their 14-day challenge. Look at this. La la la. Day 1, day 13. La la la. Oh my gosh. I'm so proud of you. And I'm going to be taking a look at this and talk about why he looks cute. And yeah. I'm going to get these out of the way because I want to spend a lot of time on the photograph. And what I'm seeing here is just a girl hardly flexing, just going through the motions. She does not look like whatever her name is, Strong Betty or whatever her name is. Because, and only because, the head does not seem to be responding to any kind of flexing. So this might be a flexing arm, but it really doesn't read as a flexing body. Okay? Osi? I'm trying to teach. Alright. I love you. Okay, so what we do is we tilt the head forward and we lower it past the shoulder line. Sorry, that's Osi's jingling over there. And what that does for us is gives us a stronger kind of gesture. It feels like the entire body is involved in. Alright, so let me just get rid of all this text. So it seemed like your girl before was just kind of chilling. Alright. So the problem when we do this is that. And I think this is a problem because her forearm is nearly as long as her upper arm, which is not possible. So what I want to do is correct the upper arm first, the lower arm, sorry, and just bring down the fist. Seam that back in there. Patch that up real nice. Put in the new face and just figure out what we want to do so that we can have a bit of both. Alright, and that means we grab this fella, separate him completely, enable, throw this on top, and tilt. It's just so that we have enough of both visible at the same time. Okay, and I think you'll have a stronger kind of, you can even make it back to its old length as long as it's kind of just tilted away. We have more of a strong, not afraid to overlap type of setup over here. Because it really felt like you were afraid to overlap. And you shouldn't feel like you can't overlap. Like you should feel like you can do this if you need to, so that she looks more tough. Another thing that we're expecting is the strength of the biceps right around here. So we've got, no, she's going full on flex, so I would say that's there. So don't be so afraid to overlap. It's not going to destroy anything. Students are so afraid of overlapping and stacking, and it's just such a beautiful thing to incorporate, because what does stacking provide for us? What is it a unit of? Does anyone remember? I'm so sorry if I feel or sound a little bit foggy-brained. I'm just a little bit off. Same reason as before. Hope I don't sound too bad. Okay. Rosie the Riveter. There you go, yeah. Depth, exactly. Depth and perspective. So what's wrong with showing a little bit of stacking if it's going to help you create the feeling of space? And space, oh, sorry, let's just climb it around. Doing what she wants, derelict. ate my cord because I decided not to feed her as much because she's gaining weight. She goes and eats my cord. Anyway, it's nice when you show that space when one object is in front of the other. Are you gonna behave? I've taught her to be quiet while I'm teaching, but she's really adoring it. She wants adoration right now because of her diet. So why is that eye huge? Perspective and distance. Okay. So what we want to do is just take a look at the before and after, and then lift the shoulder. I have a feeling I don't need to lift the shoulder, but I can only tell once we look at the before. So we can have a bit more strength. Before, after. A little bit more strong, a little bit more packed, and feels a little bit stronger. I'm not sure how Rosie the Riveter was drawn. I'm not sure if you're copying it exactly. But I have a feeling it's not really that. Yeah, it's like a forced dancey type of pose, as you can see. So she's kind of like more open, but her back is pretty straight and it's kind of tilting back. She's doing something else with her hand to kind of adjust her sleeves somehow, or roll up her sleeves. And her neck is tilted back, and it's like a whole new move. It's like a whole new position compared to flexing bicep, compared to what we see here. I need to just see this apart. See this on its own so that you guys, there's nothing creepy come up. Trying to find a decent reference. It's similar to it. What I'm basically looking for is just the natural pose of the spine moving and tilting forward, which is what we did with our after. We kind of continued the motion of the spine down and a tilted head. Imagine if we tilted it even more. That would have looked even more in power, more in control. And don't be so afraid of hiding kind of insignificant parts, because if it's pertaining to strength, this looks stronger, more capable. And this looks just a little bit like it's halfway between what Rosie was doing and what she's doing. She seems like she's just going through the motions, whereas Rosie is just like going, you know, actually lifting her sleeves and looking all tough and tilting her head back like a badass. Also, Rosie's camera is lower than her. This camera is leveled. Alright, so this arm would actually be in front if we leveled the camera back or tilted it in the same direction. Okay, so that's something I want you to keep in mind. Before, after. Kind of give that little bump for the doohickey, the little dude, the bicep. Okay, and then I'm going to show off this 14-day challenge and move on to this paint over. So this is this person's day 1, and this is their day 13. You really learned how to deal with your contrast a little bit better. And I'm happy that I'm seeing a beard shadow. I think your edges are still a little bit lacking. I feel like you had better edges here and more interesting brushwork. So don't lose that lovely brush grain that you had left behind. That was very, very well done. I like how you kept the eyebrows the same, but you started using a smaller brush for the eyebrows. You cannot detail eyebrows if there are no lashes to encourage the detail. We'd see lash detail before we see eyebrow detail. So the eyebrows are a little bit too detailed here. I would ask you to ease up on that. Your nose is definitely improved, wonderful. The lips are improved, wonderful, but they are kind of having a very stick-on type of rendition of the outer corners right along here, which they don't really feel radial. They just feel like you slapped on 2 little holes. Doesn't feel like you've introduced it. Your starting size for a radial shade should be like all the way up here. I'm not even sure. Let me see. Are you guys even seeing my brush size? Do you guys see my, oops, do you guys see my brush size? Yeah, you do. So it should be somewhere out here. I'm going to make it dark. Can't be this dark, but it should be somewhere out here. That should be your first brush stroke. Of course, we have low feed for opacity, so it's this big, and then it starts to shrink until it kind of unites with the mouth. Do you see that? So that's appropriate kind of radial shading. And what you had was just like a stick-on dark. That's like a starting placement. It's like, it works as like a placeholder for the upcoming amount of value you might need. So this is all just preparation value, and then we kind of bring in that spot, but not without a plate to introduce it. And even more, I just keep smudging. What do I say about rendering lips? What's the secret? So we have some geometry here that's missing. The lip doesn't feel three-dimensional. And we have a little bit of a Cupid's bow here now. A little bit of a shadow there. Some shadow here. And I'm just going to block in the lower pieces there and there. Two cylinder shapes. Think of the cylinder. Under-rendered is better. Exactly, that's what I mean. Under-rendered the lip. Under-render the lip. An under-rendered lip is a well-rendered lip. Alright, and a little bit more detail there for the upper facing parts. This whole area should have one average value going down into the detail. And this should be that snout area. You guys confused. Whoa, Jesus. You guys confused. I'm so sorry. You guys confused the this like section, I guess. How do I call this? You guys confused the edge of the beard shadow, which is the upper lip space. You guys confused that with the lip edge. That's not where the beard shadow isn't shaped like that. The beard shadow is just one consistent edge for when the sphere starts to look down and away from the light. So you can't describe this while describing the lips at the same time. It is outside of the lips. It doesn't care where the lips are. So what you need to do is when you bring in this little edge here, you can describe how the lower lip is darker, but only by a little bit. This is all really, really fatty. There's no bone in this area, so it's really part of that kind of, it's more head than it is lip. Basically is the best way I can describe it. Okay, and that's what makes it look and feel three-dimensional. The shadow on either side of the nostrils is a little bit off. I recommend you go straight for light to dark. There are some noses that invert this pattern, but only do that when your reference is dictating it. I have no idea what OC's up to. And then I'm just easing up on the shadow, which is a bit dark, and then blending. Okay, so I would connect actually this all the way up here. I think your blocks are really weak. I think your excessive use of your brush has, you've lost on some geometric anatomy, you've lost on some edge work here. I don't know where the sides of the nose are, I don't know where the bridge is, and this is stuff you had before. So sometimes it happens. You do a 14-day challenge and some of the good stuff that you knew, you're actually losing out on. When we create these edges, look at how neighboring your shadow of the nose is to your eye socket. That's way too close, buddy. When you provide edges, the edges reveal values. Edges reveal true values. Write that back to me. So because we applied an edge, we saw it. Gradients hide true values. Also write that back to me. Now we can smudge it with a smaller brush and a lighter step. But for the most part, we're keeping these edges intact. This gets smudged back in. This is too much strength. The start of the eyebrow always gets smudged out because it's tapering, lots of little hairs. What? Are you hungry? Fatty. Wow, she must be hungry. She's getting really big and I'm worried about her. Okay, edges reveal true values. Alright, and then we have baby girl. What? She is so cuddly. Oh my lord. If I can, before the end of class, I'm going to show her to you guys. Okay, so I'm just crossing the eyes here for a better description of the gaze. Alright, so before, after, more focused. And then finally, I just want to talk about what the hell this is. What is this? What is that? Huh? What is that? Let's see. What is that? Alright. Just going to tuck that in. Let her get fat and happy. Okay, so I'm tucking this in. No, I can't let her get fat. It's my baby girl. I'll want her around for another 100 years. Alright, so I don't know what that was. The temple is nice and flat. The dome only is on the frontal lobe. The parietal lobes are pretty flat. They're not the dome. They're not the cranium, really. The cranium is like up here. And that's really where you would measure it entirely. All these temple areas. Frontal lobe, temporal lobe. Parietal lobes are at the back. And occipital lobes is at the back. What is the parietal? Is that right? Frontal lobes, temporal? I don't know. Forgot. Helped my brother study once. Tucking in the cheekbones. Way too strong. And then pulling that out. What's funny? And then pulling that down. She kind of looks sleepy. It's because of the size of the upper eyelid. And another thing that's kind of off is the well, no, the triangular finish to the eye, to the neck needs to be there. So triangle to kind of like pinch. Longer face. Shorter cranium just by a bit. She does have a circular face. Before, after. I'm not sure if it's a she or a he. I'm just going to assume it's a she because of those eyebrows. And I'm going to create a distance in between the eyes now. Because it's looking a little bit like a he. And when we add some distance in between the eyebrows, it really brings in that beauty. Just take a look. A little bit less masculine, yeah? And I'm going to tuck down the septum. Okay, so this all should have been blocked. You're really not blocking. You're missing out on some wonderful brush grain. I don't know if you have any edging brushes or blocking brushes, but I really recommend you stop using soft brush. There are a lot of free ones out there. There are the brushes I use that are available on my store if you're interested in exactly the ones I use for class, but you really don't need to buy. There's a lot of free stuff out there. Just do anything, just stop using a soft brush so much. It's damaging your painting. The nose needs brightness all the way up, sliding in between, but not completely brightening, just in between the eyebrows. I think Osi thinks she's being punished, and that's why she's cuddling so much. You're not being punished, honey. You just eat too much. Okay. So, before, after. Alright, so I want to see all these corrections for your day 14, along with anything else that you did. The neck shouldn't expand like into an umbrella. That's a whole other muscle structure. Don't summarize two different completely muscle systems with one gesture. It's not like that. Each one requires its own dedicated rendering. Just a little bit of rendering around the mouth. Do you see how it was so overrepresented? It wasn't really a part of the face, the edges of the mouth. That weird little bump on the sides. The face is still a little bit short. I feel like you could lengthen it up just so that your template is less circular. A circle face is a very specific kind of face. Humans technically just have long faces, not so short. Short is an instance of like a specific anatomy style or something. Beauty style. So good job on how far you've come. Beautiful work. When you graduate, put them all beside each other. Anyone who hasn't done this, really recommend you do it. I mean, are you going to wait for the next time you do a masterpiece before you perfect your contrast, or are you just going to get on with it and actually put this behind you? All right. So this piece encourages contrast dependency. But let's just put that away for a second. Let's just look at why your version looks so much cuter. So I'm lifting this cast shadow completely. See how far the mouth is away from the nose? See that beautiful age syncing with the lines? You don't get this till you get these. So that means you're aging nice and gracefully. Now let's take a look at this dude. You did have that laugh lines of age, but you have a much cuter teenager type of 20-year-old distance between the nose and the mouth. But you got the wrinkles. If you're going to have one age signature, sync it with the rest of the face, or don't have it at all. Okay? So get rid of one so that the age is the same. So because we did that, now we can tell why yours looks cuter. You had everything right in the right places, but you had the lips kind of doing their own thing and throwing off the age. And when you study faces of this age, you have to be able to know why the age looks like that. And this is one thing you're not seeing. This could be because you're drawing females all the time and you get into drawing a male and he just looks like a female. These are the built-in lines you don't see in your measurement system that happen whether you like it or not. You have to train yourself not to use them. The chin is much larger than you've painted. Needs to be larger here. Okay. And so we look at the before and after. See what a big difference that is. Okay. Any questions at all? Try to focus on the lesson, Dev. If you have any questions, you can ask me at the end. Okay, buddy? It is true that women on average have more space between the nose and upper lip than men. No, they have less space between the upper lip and the lower lip. I mean, what? Upper lip and the nose. They have bigger mouths, so let's just check with Google. Men. Shut up. Images. And handsome ma'am. Okay, so we've got quite a large distance here for the mustache. It's just a very large distance. And then we think of beautiful woman. It's a very short distance, especially because of the makeup, but it's a pretty short distance compared to how much space the mustache is taking up. It's a very large space. If you were to erase the mustache, I'm trying to find one where the mustache is gone. Very large space that you would have in an older woman. So old woman. preferably, okay, middle-aged woman. They tend to have like a, I'm not sure which one is not smiling, because smiling ups that distance and lowers it. Okay. So the distance increases, very similar to what we see in a handsome man. Because man handsome at young is woman at old. Woman at beautiful is really similar to baby. Baby. Pretty baby. Not newborn baby, because those are hideous. Okay, what just happened? Beautiful baby. Okay. So we have that kind of like upward little tilt. I don't even know if this is edited. Creepy. We have that little upward, you know, like wing upward of the upper lip, which is what we see in women. They are kind of exaggerating their little lip thing, but with their duck face. But do you see how these are comparable? Look at that short distance. Okay. Short distance. She has a biggish distance. But if we were to shrink that distance, she would technically be more beautiful. Technically. Quite a short distance. Short distance. Very, very short distance. But we have none of that over here in these males, which have a... Well, this guy's lip is pretty high. But, again, the mustache is filling in that space, so it's giving you off the illusion that it's close. Trust me, erase that mustache, and you'll see how far away. This guy's got full lips, baby face. Some of these guys don't count. Let's just grab this guy. Technically, he's cute. Let's grab him and complete the lesson for today. And just completely grab this value. Let me grayscale. Okay. Oh, let's see. What'd you do? Police are coming. Okay, so we're just filling in this space here. You'll notice how pretty far away the nose is from the mouth. And I'll put in a fake Cupid's bow. Do you see that? Do you guys see that? I'll put in a Cupid's bow because it does look weird, admittedly, without one. So I'll just put in my own little Cupid's bow. Right? The mustache is an illusion. The mustache. Don't say that, hunting ball. You're beautiful. Are you kidding me? You're so cute. You look like a China doll. Alright, so I'm going to shrink this distance. Look how much more cute this fella looks with the distance shrunken. Okay, then I'm going to show you the freak show before. It's just so weird shaving a guy's mustache off for me. If a guy doesn't have a beard, he's not a man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just keep your beards, fellas. If you can grow it, keep it, for the love of God. It's just walking female magnet, okay? Keep your goddamn beards. Anyway, before, after. Do you see that mustache? The mustache hides a lot, right? So he looked cute, downright adorable, right? But that mustache was creating an illusion. Get rid of it, and you kind of see what's happening, okay? So, male old, male young is female old. Female young is baby. Okay? No, it'll attract the same too. Good, you better blush. The mustache is an illusion. Alright? Beards are everything. So write that back to me. Male old is female. Male young is female old. Female young is baby. Okay, that should help you kind of around how much of the ogre to keep, how much of the elf to keep. This is pretty much what we're talking about. Just add some age. That's what we have. We still want large eyes, small nose, small mouth for female, right? That's what we're doing. This is a very, very cute thing. So there are massive differences between the beauty roles of female and male across different ages. Her face is old for a woman, but probably just where it needs to be for a male that is 20. Do you guys see what I'm saying? It's just not fair. Men get to be cute all their lives, and women, slightest little change in your nose to mouth ratio, and you jump straight for the Juvederm or whatever the hell it's called, lip plumpers. All right, so to recap, what you did here was that you filled in that space and you made him cute, whereas this guy has got a longer face, the chin is so much closer to the edge, and a wider forehead. You also just, the hairline, you made it very, very young. The hairline is another age signature. It goes right up for males. At least we keep our hair, you know. Women won that department. At least we don't lose our hair. So the hairline went up. And I think there's even more space. The lips are actually not that plump, so you plumped up the lips as well, which kind of made you lose the age again. And then we compare to the before and after. And that's why yours looked like a female. Or a really, really cute male. Very young. You kind of missed out on everything that was happening here. You captured the sweet eyes, but you lost the age. Also, look at what happens when a student is allowed to do their contrast. For some reason, yours just isn't working, but the photograph is. And that's because it's a photograph. So if you have a reference that has a lot of contrast in it, you don't need to copy it exactly. You can just relax a little bit. You can keep the darks dark, but not as dark as the reference. White's white, but not as white as the reference. Don't try to do what a photograph does, because you're just giving me too much contrast, and the contrast should only be preserved for the focal point. Okay? So remember. Remember Mustache Boy. Okay, remember him. This is what he's hiding. I don't know who this is, but this is what he's hiding. Okay? So that's it for today. I'm actually going to lose my mind. I'm not feeling very good. I have been feeling better all around. I think I found a really nice routine. But upcoming very, very shortly, I think there will be quite a bit of a break for me to take for my own health and recovery. I'm not sure if it'll be a full-on a full-on vacation that I go somewhere. I'm not sure my health is quite there right now for me to go somewhere, but if you want your work looked at, please go to Google Plus and have a look there. Make sure that you're reading the rules and submitting. I do want to apologize if for some reason I'm a little foggy-brained, or if I'm a little scatterbrained, or whatever the term is. I've described it before why, and if you haven't figured out, or you haven't been told why, or you don't know what it is, or it's health stuff, and I'm sorry that the quality of my videos, if it goes down at all, I do want to express that, my apology there, whenever I can. So yeah, Google Plus to join, and the winner of the community poll is, where are you? Tyler Finnegan. So Tyler already has a copy of Portrait Studio, but Tyler won all the brushes, and he is currently accepting the rest of his rewards as they happen. So there's portfolio reviews, there's any kind of other upgrades that he might have. Sketchbook will be sent to him. Sketching material if he's interested in doing, or if he lives anywhere where I can send him stuff. I usually just send rewards through Amazon. And if his tablet is functional, if he doesn't need one, we'll find another way to reward him. But his rewards are incoming, and this is just a way for me to encourage you guys to get into the contests more, not contests, the challenges more. I don't like measuring people's skill. I really do believe that Everyone here had a fighting chance. People responded to his because he hit on all, so he was firing on all cylinders, and he had all his midtones in control. I think the previous version was the better version, though, in my opinion. But I think he captured the Aztec culture well, and I think he kind of found a graceful and a really, really mature way of providing all of the stuff we needed for the description and not overdoing it, because it was a character design from top to bottom. He shared and distributed focal point equally. I think that the gesture, the characterization, everything was right where it needed to be. And he paid a lot of attention to the description and the general mood and atmosphere. He kind of believed in the project. So I can't wait to see what other stuff Tyler does. And I can't wait to see what else we're going to be working on for our community challenges. I'm going to try to make the next one interesting. It might be a creature slash character design. So it might be another one of those creature combined with a human. That way you have a chance to design a creature but still keep your portfolio character strong and portrait strong, which is what I like. It's valuable. It might be another excerpt. It might just be me giving you something to choose from or have more liberty. A lot of people suggested abstract images, so I give you an abstract description and you draw something out of it, like a writing prompt, but not really. So I'm still thinking about it. I do want you guys to have concrete briefs, though. I do want it to still feel like a workplace environment. So I probably will work off something like an excerpt or just writing anything for you guys to work from. What else? I think that's it for announcements. If you're interested in joining the class, click on the little Google Plus icon. If you're interested in supporting on Patreon, Patreon rewards will go out this month at the 1st. After the 1st, around the 5th of the month, I distribute Patreon rewards. If you're interested in our Patreon apprentice tier that is governed through Discord, please go and join as an apprentice. It's a nice alternative to private tutoring. You still get dedicated critique for your work. You get assignments. And if you're interested in something on the other side of that, just as a watcher, you can join. My goal is 1,000 patrons. I don't know when I'm going to reach that, but we will eventually, somehow, some way, which will be really cool. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. I will see you guys on Thursday. Bye.